Oh, hell yeah. What?
FSU is surging with top 24/7 wide receiver Hakeem Williams. He said, quote, "Damn, that shit was electrifying." Talking about the Florida State LSU game on Saturday.
Oh.
No, I'm sorry, not Saturday, Sunday. I think Saturday.
We're still not quite there. I mean, it is still weird having a Saturday
night football on
game.
Sunday night.
Yeah.
Like NFL, stupid Amazon or whatever. Sunday night football on Thursday. That's literally
So if you have Prime, you can watch it?
Week 1, I think, is just on NBC, like normal.
Okay.
And I think they're going to tell everyone, hey, look, week 2, starting next week, we're on Amazon Prime. Because I know for a fact next week is Chiefs-Chargers week 2, Thursday night. And that was the advertisement from when I remember from the summer.
Well, we only have one game, right, on Thursday?
Yeah, against the Jets.
Okay. Well, I mean, I can live without watching Thursday Night Football if I have to.
You're nuts.
I'm nuts?
Yeah.
I mean...
I only care about Thursday night personally just because of fantasy football.
Oh, well, you're the fantasy football degenerate.
That is true. I'm in way too many leagues.
How many this year?
4, 8.
You say 4, 8?
10. Yeah, 10 leagues.
Okay.
I've gone down. It used to be 15. Now it's down to 10.
Golly. And are they all on the same platform? Or are you...
2 platforms.
ESPN?
ESPN and ESPN and Sleeper.
And I've never even heard of that one.
So Sleeper is a dynasty league platform. So essentially, you have players it's just like you build your own team, hold them for multiple years, and you want to trade for multiple years, whatever the situation may be. And yeah, I joined 2 dynasty leagues this year. I like dynasty a lot compared to regular redraft like every year.
Well, do you have any that have punishments?
Dynasty leagues, no, but regular leagues.
Or any of your leagues?
Regular league, yes, one of them. Supposed to be 2, but we'll see. That other one's tough, but definitely one. We always have a draft punishment.
Okay, because I've been stuck on that side of TikTok lately, seeing all the different punishments.
Some of those punishments I've seen on Twitter, Instagram, even the ones you send me from TikTok, they're funny. But yeah, so some of them are just eh.
Like the most popular one we both we talked earlier about is the Waffle House challenge. You sit in a Waffle House for 24 hours. Every waffle you eat takes off an hour. Yeah,
my football league, my main fantasy football league wanted to do that, and I'm like, that is a health hazard. Like, you are really endangering your health there, because if you eat 5 waffles, okay, you're not going to stuff your face with more waffles just to get out of there. You're going to have to...
You're going to have to take a break.
You're going to have to take a break for 1, and 2, you're going to probably puke it up or poop it out. Like, it's not going to be safe for you.
No, it's not. And you're going to not like waffles after that for at least a good while.
And I'm sorry, if you can eat a waffle with no syrup or butter or anything, you're a nut job. So you're going to load up on sugar. And
wait, I guess I never really watched it. Eat it without... Oh, yeah. I guess it makes sense to...
Because you're going to maybe eat max 6, 7 waffles probably. Maybe 8. And then guess what? You're going to be stuck in a Waffle House for the other 16 hours of the day. So I
bring my laptop and just...
Yeah, I'm good
something.
on that.
I don't know.
I'm good on that.
Well, what else? I've seen like taking the SAT or the ACT. That's funny.
We have the same league that I'm in. We call it Big Ballers because we made fun of LeVar Ball and it just stuck. The SAT was a possibility, but the last place loser who's gone last place 5 of the last 6 years, it's my cousin Assad. And he chose not to do it because he was worried about him impacting his law school application. I'm like, bro. So anyways, he is in last place again this year, but we suggested SAT. He backed out of that. Or when we said that as a punishment, we made it a requirement. You have to take it at the high school you attended. So that is something that's still to be done.
That is tough.
We've had punishments such as we shaved his head. He's had to stand outside the town center, aka we also stood outside of BJ's, the restaurant, and
holding a sign
saying "honk to shame me. I suck at fantasy football." One year we had him take a blow up doll to a Miller's Ale House and take it to dinner. And the worst thing about it wasn't even the dinner. It was the fact that we took his phone away from him. So he had to legitimately just sit there with the date and order
cruel.
Food for the fake girl. And Another punishment he did was he wore a dress to the draft. He did that. And currently this year, his punishment is to go to an open mic night and do stand-up comedy for like 5 minutes.
Comedy? Oh, that's gold. Because you actually have to like...
We have to book that in advance, and that's one thing we learned, so we're going to have to wait till he comes back into town to do it. So that is the punishment, and next year's punishment is to be determined.
Oh my God. Well, those are good, and I'm sure there's a million others. So if anybody else has a good punishment for Mike for next year, maybe for you next year,
we do need a punishment for this upcoming season, so we'll see. We'll figure that out.
Or maybe we can make it a punishment for the show or something like that for, I don't know, whoever is farthest away from predicting our record or something like that. The Jags, I mean.
Sounds good to me.
I don't know. Well, let's officially start the episode. Welcome to Dimes on Duval, episode 69.
What a nice episode.
Nice indeed. Mike is here live with me. Skyler will actually be joining us remotely later on. So for right now, it's just going to be you and me, brother. And well, we've got football, nothing but football to talk about this episode, as week 1 officially is in the books for college football. Technically the second game for Florida State. And then we have a Jaguars game to prepare for this weekend up in Washington, D.C. So without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and get Skyler in here right now, actually. We're gonna talk Florida versus Utah. And holy crap. I mean, just with you first, Mike, I honestly didn't expect him to win the game.
I didn't either, but as we got closer to the game, I legitimately had a worry that UF was going to pull this out. Anthony Richardson is just a stud, man. He really is just a stud.
Yeah.
Like, what was wrong with Dan Mullen where last year he did not play Anthony Richardson whatsoever? And the one game that he did play him in was against Georgia, and, like, come on. It's Georgia. They won the national championship. Like,
one of the best defense, if not the best defense in the league.
And then, it's bad. It was Dan Mullen, and he was just a moron of a coach.
I mean, there's a reason he's not here anymore.
There's a reason why he's working for ESPN.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw him on the screen the other day. I was like, what a loser.
Yeah, just Anthony Richardson is a stud. And do we want to go over our thoughts on the game, or do we want to wait till Skyler?
Well, actually,
hear what Skyler says first.
It's interesting you say that, because what we've already talked about is basically what we're going to ask Skyler, which is, who is the star of the game? And go ahead and just give us some of your general thoughts on the game.
So, I thought it was a really entertaining game between Utah and Florida. Utah played really well. Florida played really well, and there was just a great matchup. The only mistake Florida made was just dropping the ball early in the game, and Utah took advantage of that, went up 7-0 early, took that lead early in the game, which is something they needed to do. And it was just back and forth for the most part. One thing that I thought was really interesting, Billy Napier mentioned in a post-game interview, that you got to take advantage of what you do in the red zone, both on offense and defense, and that's kind of where the difference in this game was. Utah got in the red zone, but they had to kick field goals, or they went for it on the goal line and didn't get the touchdown on that possession, and really hurt them. Obviously, they ended up losing the game, and then late in the game too, they were in the red zone again, throw that interception to Amari Burner. So really critical points that were preached come to fruition for Billy and the Gators, and that was just really good to see, fun to watch, and I'm just thrilled to watch more football this year from Florida, which hasn't been, I've been excited in the past few years. We've had some success, but seeing Anthony Richardson play and play the way he did brings me to my star of the game, and that's him. He did everything he needed to do. He was efficient with the ball. He just feels like when he has the ball and he's operating the offense, that we're going to get the first downs we need. We're going to get the ball to the point that we need to get to, and it just feels really good to have a quarterback we can be confident in again. He just happens to be wearing 15. It's like our last great quarterback. So hopefully he can keep it up That 2-point conversion was just spectacular. I've never seen a play like that. It was just awesome to see. Great to see. And, I know we're going to see more plays like that. That 40-yard rushing touchdown, that's something we saw already from him last year. And it's only week 1, so we'll play Kentucky next. That will be a great match. I look forward to it. And I just look forward to the rest of the season. I'm not sure I'm sure we're going to lose some games this year. I'm not expecting us to go undefeated, but I expect it to be a very fun season just based on what I saw week 1.
Appreciate those words, Skyler. Wish you were here with us, but I appreciate you at least being able to get in that. So with Skyler's notes now, Mike, star of the game, we have to agree, is Anthony Richardson. By far. I don't have his stats right here in front of me, but he played a very good game.
It is definitely Anthony Richardson, and I can pull up his stats here in a second. But one thing I did enjoy watching about Anthony Richardson, and I'm telling you, I was very shocked with how UF played. I thought, through the game, their depth would get depleted and the backups would play. And after hearing and reading a lot of things over the offseason, Florida's depth is not very good, from what I understood. And luckily, Florida did not have to deal with that. But Anthony Richardson is easily the player of the game for me on the Florida side of the ball.
Yeah, he was 70%, 71% completion percentage. Didn't throw for a ton, but he ran the ball really well, and just some of his elusiveness. And I think that was the biggest problem with Utah, is they couldn't make a tackle for the life of them. The amount of tackles, I wish I had that number. The amount of tackles broken in that game by any Florida player, but especially Richardson, had to be astronomical, because that 360 spin that the 2-point conversion?
The 2-point conversion where he spun around and it was a pump fake. That is, if Anthony Richardson turns out to, let's just say, obviously, loading up on the hype train, but
right.
if he wins the Heisman, maybe this year, next year, whatever, if he ever wins one, this play is going to be the first play on his highlight reel.
His what do they call it? His Kodak moment, or his Heisman moment.
Yeah. But granted, it's in week 1, but still.
Yeah, but it was such a sick play. I got to give props. We are not Gator fans by any means. But
I legitimately, when I saw that play, my mouth dropped. I was like, oh, man, this kid is special. So the Gators got a good one. All credit to the Gators to win that game, pull it out. And, against Utah, the supposedly number 7 country at the time, which, by the way, this goes back to what another podcast of our friends, Scott and Alex, they talked about it last year, I believe it was. Preseason polls are the dumbest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
And I don't know why we still do this, but this just shows that some teams are overrated. Utah, clearly a little overrated. Oregon, my goodness, completely overrated.
3 points. Imagine getting on a plane, flying across the nation to put up 3 points, and then have to fly home. Miserable.
Yeah.
Miserable.
Yeah, the preseason polls are stupid. And my brother was saying, how is Utah the number 7 team in the country? I was like, look, Utah's a very good team. They
returned a bunch of players.
They were a very good team last year, and they had not a Heisman, but a very good quarterback in Cam Rising, who, by the way, what was he doing in that game?
No idea.
The 2 red zone turnovers inside the 5, inside the 3, the fumble by the running back, and then the last play of the game, the second to last play of the game with the pick. Cam Rising had no reason to force that throw. He could have thrown it away, could have ran it in. But I don't understand what Cam Rising was thinking in that moment, but I guess that's what the play call was. And their receiver absolutely torched the Gators. What was his name? Brant Kuth. He had 9 for 105 and a touchdown on the Gators.
Yeah,
Gators secondary is not looking great. And Tavion Thomas, the running back for Utah, very good running back as well. So Utah has some talent, but again, you got to show up in these moments, and Utah did not show up. Cam Rising looked okay, but he had some moments I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'll give Skyler credit. He called it in the video that we made about the predictions for this game. I really think the crowd did play a factor. I hate to admit it, but I really think they did. Utah, not only had the crowd affect them, but the humidity really kicked their ass, and they won't admit it, but those guys were puking right and left. And
yeah, Utah player, I can't remember who it was, said that the crowd didn't affect them as much. I call bull because
he's just gonna say that.
That atmosphere is insane, especially on a Saturday night under the lights. It's a different atmosphere in the Swamp, and I will give Gator fans credit and Gator players credit and the Gator coaching staff credit because they showed up in their first game under head coach Billy Napier.
Okay, yeah, I 100% agree. Unfortunately, next week they do play Kentucky at home, another ranked foe. According to AP, though, I'm pretty sure they're ranked one higher than Kentucky now, so it wouldn't be an upset per se, but it would be another win against a ranked team. Again,
yeah, UF is number 12 in the new AP poll that just dropped today, and Kentucky is number 20.
Oh, so. I'm thinking of the coaches. My bad. And the coaches, it's that way. Again, polls this early just make me want to puke anyway. They're stupid.
I say polls should not be a thing until after week 4.
Yeah, week 4 I think is reasonable. But you know what? It generates hype. It gets views on ESPN, and that's why they do it. So regardless, let's jump over to the other game that came down to the wire as well, but ended positive for us as Florida State fans, and, a win. Florida State, LSU, a dub in an unlikely fashion, but a win is a win.
That game, it's a game I've never seen before.
It was strange.
But for once, like a game like that worked out in Florida State's favor. It's been a long time since it worked out in the Noles' favor.
It's been way too long.
Like, granted, everyone make fun of the Noles for the first time since 2016. They started off 1-0. Now we're 2-0. Same thing since 2016. Those were the Jimbo years, the glory few years. I want to say glory years, but from 2013 to 2016, Florida State, 2012 really to 2016, Florida State was a wagon. Like, they were not to be messed with.
Yep.
And I know Bobby Bowden said, and I take this from Brennan Sinone, which, I mean, it was directly from Bobby Bowden. Lose by a lot, lose by a little, win by a little, win by a lot. Sunday night was an example of Florida State winning by a little. After 2 years ago, losing by a lot. Last year, losing by a little, like the Notre Dame game, for example, Jacksonville State game, blah, blah, blah.
We don't talk about that.
Exactly. So, like this year, finally, so far, through 2 weeks, granted, after the week 1 game, we won by a little. And slowly but surely, Florida State's in that right direction, I think. And
oh, yeah.
And FYI to any listeners, Mike Norvell's not going anywhere. He's not going around this year, not next year, maybe not the year after that, because they still have to pay Willie Taggart, and his contract extension with the Noles just was announced a few days ago. So I don't see Mike Norvell leaving Florida State, at least not after this year, even if they don't make a bowl. Personally, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, I agree with you there. Dang, and I had something on the tip of my tongue too, and I just completely forgot it. Oh, yeah, it was, what was it? The year after we won the national championship? Was that the year that we beat Notre Dame because of the call?
Yes,
in the end zone?
2014. I remember I was at that game.
And it was that whole season kind of where we had like things
we had
fall.
a lot of close games that shouldn't have been close. Like Louisville, we were down 3 touchdowns and we somehow came back and won. Maybe it was NC State. I can't remember. But we had a game.
I think it was NC. Yeah.
We had a few games where we're like, what are we still doing here? We should be blowing these teams out. So last night was an indication like, oh, Florida State could be back. I'm not saying that they are, but
no, by no, and by back, it's not. Oh my God, we're going to the national championship.
No.
Or a New Year's bowl game. No, it's Florida State is making plays when they should be. Florida State is making fewer mistakes that are just like, why the hell did we do that? Like, there was only a couple false starts and holdings on the offensive line, which I was pretty proud of. The Ontario Wilson, that one-handed catch in the end zone was fantastic after Travis got basically headshot.
Dude, that was an insane play. And speaking of Jordan Travis, is it me or did he look like a completely different quarterback Sunday night than he has the first 2 years of his career at Florida State?
His first season, he trotted out on the field, and I was like, this guy stinks. This guy can run. And
okay, he doesn't stink compared to Tay Rodemaker, but that's another day. Another topic.
But a couple years ago,
yeah.
I was just like, man, this guy is just not that great. Yeah. looking at him play, he does look like a new player, and in a good way.
Like,
and I hope it stays.
This is his money year, because I personally think he's going to go to the NFL after this year, barring any NIL deals that'll make him maybe stay in Tallahassee. But he looked very good Sunday night. And
well, my hope is that he plays so well this year, we blow out some teams, and then Tate comes in and he breaks his arm, or has a twisted ankle so he can't play, and then we can see AJ Duffy, because I want him to be the next quarterback. But
he should be the number 2.
Yeah, but right now, yes, very impressed with how he played. Really impressed with Ontario Wilson. Really impressed with the defense. Bethune had some good plays. I don't even remember the guy's name that blocked the extra point to win it. I don't even know if he really even plays that much, but
Shaheem?
Oh, Shaheem Brown. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a holy crap. I'm not even gonna. So let me spell this out for all of you that weren't with me that night. So I was at Dick's Wings watching the game, and I told Mike, like, "Hey man, I want to go home." He wasn't with me, but I was like texting him, like, "Hey, I want to go home." He's like, "Just go." I'm like, "No, I can't. I'm superstitious. I don't want to leave. And then, if I leave, we've been playing well while I'm here, and I go home and we lose. I don't want that to happen." Well, it got to the point where I was tired of sitting on the wooden seats. Everyone else was kind of clearing out except for a couple people. I didn't want to be that guy as they're trying to close the store. They're sweeping and stuff around me. So I'm like, all right, I'm just going to go. And we scored our last touchdown to give us 24. So I get home, and then and then all hell breaks loose. And the last play of the game, I missed, actually, to where they scored the touchdown. I went pee because we called a timeout. And I was like, oh, okay, I've got another minute and a half or something. Well, apparently I peed longer than I thought, or I took longer to wash my hands or something like that, because I came back out and the graphic on the screen was, 2-yard reception, touchdown, LSU, and the crowd's going wild. I'm like, shit. So I plopped down on the couch, defeated, and, getting ready to almost turn off the TV, even though I knew we were going to go into overtime, but I was just that pissed. And, well, they blocked the extra point, and then I started jumping up and down, going crazy, and I think you and I both couldn't sleep that night, 2 a.m.
So when Florida State let the first touchdown happen in the fourth quarter, I was like, okay, whatever, just finish this game strong, fine. And then we punted the ball away, and then they muffed the punt. And that whole fourth quarter, last 4 minutes, was a roller coaster. But after Jaden Daniels drove down the field, got the game-winning touchdown, or nearly game-tying touchdown, I literally was about to walk upstairs because my mom wanted the TV so she can watch her show. I was like, well, you know what, whatever, I'll go upstairs to watch the game. And I stood in the walkway between, the walkway back to the upstairs, and
I could see you just peering around the corner.
I'm peering around the corner, like you said, watching around the corner, and I see the kick get blocked, and I said, "Oh shit!" And I almost went through. Did you notice that the ball hit the upright?
Yeah, it was really close. Because even if you see the kicker, he knows that it gets blocked, but he kind of fades back a little, oh, that might go in. Nope.
Thank God. And I literally was like, thank goodness, because like you said, I was up all night. Not up all night, but I was up to about 1, 2 in the morning just checking Twitter, because seeing all the reaction and stuff. And it was a great game to watch.
I got to give credit to Jaden Daniels, because in the first half, I was like, this guy is awful. This guy stinks. But mounting a 99-yard drive to essentially tie the game or win it.
And I blame that on more so Adam Fuller and his PTSD from last year's Jacksonville State game.
Yeah.
Personally,
I'll give him that.
But that's just me. But I got a question for you.
Yeah.
What was the bigger bright spot on Sunday for the Noles? Was it the offense or the defense? And by offense, obviously the running game was non-existent, minus Jordan Travis's legs. But
yeah, no, I'm giving the nod to the defense only because the running game was not very good. There were some drop passes. Johnny Wilson did not impress me a couple times. He could have had a couple catches that he missed. And the play call and the red zone, the fade route to, who was that to? Was that to Spain?
The fade was to Micah Pittman.
Pittman, yeah. I was just like, I didn't like that call. But the defense, as much as they couldn't QB contain, I was impressed with the corners. I was impressed with the lack of PIs. There wasn't a lot of pass interference, and the few that were kind of BS anyway. And yeah, no, I got to give that on the defense. They actually impressed me, except for that last drive. But
I say defense as well, but the star of the game for me was Jordan Travis.
I thought you were about to say special teams.
Oh,
minus Fitzgerald.
I got a comment to say on the special teams.
Okay.
But defense definitely the bright spot. Jared Verse is a absolute stud. And granted, he's no Jermaine Johnson from a year ago, but he is very, very good.
No one will beat Jermaine Johnson.
Yes. But the star of the game for me was still Jordan Travis because I've never seen Jordan Travis play like the way he did Sunday night.
He was throwing dimes.
He was throwing bullets.
Hitting guys in stride and everything.
And the third down play calling was
chef's kiss.
Was beautiful. But as for the special teams, it was a mixed bag of emotions. The first kickoff was a kickoff out of bounds. And
the
then
second kickoff was a kickoff.
The second kickoff was a kick out of bounds. The missed field goal, I'm like, oh, here we go. Special teams about to screw us. And then the punt coverage was insane because we got right on the ball when the two muff punts occurred for LSU. And then on top of that, the block kick and the block field goal and the block extra point. So special teams overall, I guess a B. But my goodness, those only because of the two kickoff out of bounds and the field goal. It's B plus just because the impact didn't hurt us as much.
Right. Just to finish up, I do want to go back to your third down statement. Yes, it was important. The Seminoles converted 11 of 17, including 5 of 8 in the second half. And Travis was really the big reason why. He was 8 of 12 for 92 yards and a TD on third downs. And all 8 of those completions moved the chains. So that's a huge thing for time of possession. That's a huge thing just to keep drives alive. And I'm just thankful that he had a game like this. Florida State does have the week off because, thank you to Mike for explaining that to me, since we had a week 0 game, we get 2 bye weeks, but we return against Louisville, who got spanked by Syracuse. What was the final? Do you remember? It was like, they only scored like 7 points, right?
Who was it again?
Syracuse and Louisville?
Syracuse was Louisville. I think it was 31-7 in favor of the Orange.
And I'm not going to sit here and be like, wow, Syracuse is good. No, I think it's like, damn, Louisville.
Yeah, it was 31-7.
Where was it?
It was in the Carrier Dome.
Ah, okay.
It doesn't matter. Louisville's a better team.
Yes, agreed. Let's go ahead and switch gears here. So we've got week 1 of the NFL coming. How excited are you, Mr. Mike Yashi?
I'm just glad football's back.
Yeah.
I'm watching Hard Knocks. Like, obviously it's back. Like, I just can't. It's not the same. It's just, it got us to this point. Great. Now we are in August, or we just finished August. We're heading into September.
God, we're in September, dude.
Thank goodness. I got a lot of things planned this year, so we got this going to sign that. Granted, 2022 is coming to an end, but we still got a long football season ahead.
Start your Christmas shopping now. Ooh. I can't believe I just said that.
Yeah, well,
I just got my fall scented candles and stuff, so I'm ready for fall. I'm not ready for winter just quite yet. But anyway, Jags Commanders on September 11th at 1 p.m. It's going to be on Fox. The Jags, according to ESPN's Football Power Index, have a 33.8% chance of winning that game. I don't know about you, Mike, but I see that as a 50-50 chance.
Yeah, I put money on the Jags to win when they were under 4-point underdogs a few weeks ago. Now they are 2.5-point underdogs according to Vegas.
Yep, 2.5. I really think we can march in there and win this game. I mean, even with Chase Young out, their defensive line is still good. And I really think that, dang, I just completely lost my thought. But no, I think that our offense will be restructured this year, and I think it's going to be a lot better than it was the year before. I just don't think Carson Wentz is very good.
Bro, Carson Wentz is going to struggle. I am all over the Jags this weekend. I personally don't think the running back situation in Washington is very good right now. Antonio Gibson can't hang on to the ball. J.D. McKissick is okay, but he's just not that great. Terry McLaurin scares the hell out of me, but I do believe in our corners, in Shaq Griffin, in Darius Williams, and Tyson Campbell to slow him down. I don't care about Logan Thomas because he's one concussion away from being retired.
He's questionable anyway, as of right now.
Not surprising. So, and the offensive line is anchored by a veteran. I'll give him that in Trey Turner, but they also have our beloved Andrew Norwell. So.
Yeah, I forgot Norwell.
So I am not really worried about that offensive line. Defense, I am a little worried about the defensive line. I do believe that they have some good players. They have Montez Sweat. They have Daron Payne. They have Jonathan Allen. They don't need Chase Young to get after offensive line.
No, that's what I'm saying. I do think that they have a good D-line. It's just, is their offense good enough to outscore us? And I'm not going to think this final score is going to be in the 40s or anything like that, but I think we'll put up at least 30 points. And I know that's crazy to say because we don't do that, but I don't know. I have confidence, and I think Carson Wentz is trash, and we can beat him, I guess, technically 2 weeks in a row, right?
I guess so. Yeah, Carson Wentz does not like playing the Jaguars, so we will see what happens there. But I do believe if the Jaguars are to win, as to give my key to the game.
Yes, what is your key to the game?
It's going to be how well do the Jaguars protect Trevor Lawrence? It's going to be very basic, very simple answer, because if you protect Trevor Lawrence, he will have the time to get the ball to our receivers and Marvin Jones, Christian Kirk, Zay Jones, Tim Jones, even Evan Ingram, even James Robinson, who is supposed to possibly play in Week 1 according to Doug Peterson, as Doug announced today, even Travis Etienne out of the backfield. We have weapons. We just need to give Trevor some time to get him to throw the ball to them. So that is my key. The offensive line protecting Trevor Lawrence against that pretty solid pass rush or with the Washington Commanders.
That's a good one. Mine is going to go kind of along the lines of some of the things we talked about with college football, especially the Florida State game. Kicking. Riley Patterson is listed as the starting kicker. James McCourt is on the practice squad. Patterson, I don't really know what to tell you much about him. According to his stats from last year, he went 13 of 14, and his only miss was from 50-plus. But if they aren't consistent with extra points or field goals or even kickoffs, I don't think they can win the game, and that has been a huge question mark this entire offseason for this team. Just fingers crossed. I hope he can kick the ball well. How about Skyler? Skyler, what is your key to the game for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
My keys to the game for Jacksonville versus the Commanders, it's going to be to prevent the ball getting into the hands of Terry McLaurin and then also Jahan Dotson. You know, those two receivers are guys who are electric with the ball, and they just can't have the ball in their hands. And that's where I think, you know, seeing Carson Wentz again is good for this defense. He's the last quarterback they played in a regular season game. We definitely have some new pieces, you know, new coach as well, but our coach also knows Carson more than any other coach probably in this league. He scouted him very deeply. You know, he was his quarterback in Philadelphia, the one who basically helped get Philly to the promised land, you know, with Nick Foles as well. You know, Doug knows his tendencies, knows how he's going to play, knows what rattles him, and this defense does too, and getting to Carson Wentz is going to help with that key of preventing those receivers and those playmakers just getting the ball. So that's the key to the game, stop those guys from getting the ball. And, you know, I do think the Jaguars are going to win and start this season 1-0, which is scary to think about, but it's definitely doable. I'm excited to see what happens Sunday, and just look forward to seeing this football team play this whole year as well, just like I am for the Gators, because, you know, it seems like these offenses know how to move the ball now. Whether the Jaguars take advantage of the red zone the same way the Gators did in Week 1, that's to be seen. You know, they didn't do it in the preseason. That's what we're hoping to see a lot of this regular season is you get in the red zone, you score touchdowns. We don't need field goals. But those are my keys, just making sure those playmakers on Washington don't get the ball. And then for Jacksonville, when they get in the red zone, they need to score touchdowns. I'm excited. Football season's here. I'm ready to go. Can't wait to keep watching it. And thanks for listening.
Thank you for that, Skyler. Mike, that's actually a good point. I didn't even think about with the Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz connection. I think we can use that to our advantage.
I do believe that Carson Wentz is going to suck no matter what, whoever's coaching against him or not.
Even Urban?
Don't get me started.
Well, let's just go ahead and change our directions then. We did this a little bit last year, a little bit different. We went through FanDuel last year, or did we go through FanDuel? I don't know what we went through last year, but we were kind of looking at teams that had maybe an outside chance of making the Super Bowl, making a run. Or no, it was NBA.
It was NBA this last, I want to say...
The last playoff.
It was before the playoffs, or it was before the season, so it was last October.
Okay, yeah. And we went through to kind of look at some teams that would make the playoffs, wouldn't make the playoffs, yada, yada, yada. Well, this episode, I want us... According to FanDuel Sportsbook, for all of you that would go check our history here or something like this.
As of September 6, 2022.
Yes, when we record, the Super Bowl, what number is it? 57. 57. I didn't have it up in front of me and I couldn't remember. The odds. So right now, obviously, well, not obviously, not all of you know, but the number one team right now at plus 600 is the Buffalo Bills. Going down the list,
And for the non-bettors, $100 will win. If you bet on the Bills to win the Super Bowl, $100 wins you $600. That is the plus 600 for those that are not aware.
Thank you. I still don't. I still struggle with that. I was going to text you the other day with a question. I forgot what it is, but I'll get back to you on it. But yeah, so the top teams, Bills plus 600, Bucks plus 750, Chiefs plus 1,000. Rams plus 1,100. So that's your top four. Packers plus 1,200, top five, which still is kind of amazing to me. But I want us to go a little bit deeper. I want us, you and I, to pick a team outside of that top five that you can see going to the Super Bowl. Not just the playoffs, the Super Bowl. So you can't pick the Bills, Bucks, Chiefs, Rams, or Packers.
It's easy. For me, at least.
Go ahead.
It's the San Diego, the Los Angeles Chargers. Just because they went all out this offseason, they added Khalil Mack. They added J.C. Jackson, I believe. Let me double check that while I continue to ramble on about the Chargers. They have a very good young quarterback in Justin Herbert. They have a great receiving core. They have a great offensive line. They have a great defensive line led by one of the Bosa brothers. I can't remember his name. Joey Bosa. And I do believe that team is a very stacked team. Yes, and I do see J.C. Jackson was added by the Chargers. So
okay.
They did add a lot of depth this offseason. They let go of some players. They added some players. I do believe that the Chargers are my pick to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. Before I get to my pick, I just have a question for you. Looking through this list, I'm seeing all the way down 1, 2, 3, 4. Like 16th is Cincinnati. Why are they plus 2,200?
I personally think it's because the Super Bowl regression. Because I don't remember the last time a losing team in the Super Bowl had great odds or even made the playoffs the next year.
I guess probably the Patriots.
The Bucks would be the Chiefs. The Chiefs last year when they lost to the Bucks 2 years ago. I can't remember many teams having that much success. And also how it's hard to make it back to the Super Bowl.
Agreed.
Let alone make it, but make it back.
Unless you're the Bills, way back when.
When they made 4 straight, but they lost 4 straight.
Yeah. But I mean, hey, they made it back.
I mean, look, the Rams they're the defending champions. They're not even the favorite.
Yeah.
Which is still crazy to me. And the Chiefs, after losing Tyreek Hill, they're still the second favorite in the AFC. So
the Packers don't have any receivers, and they're the 5th team on this list.
That's because they have your 2-time MVP Aaron Rodgers, back-to-back MVP.
I was gonna say back-to-back, yeah.
Yeah, back-to-back
multiple
MVP, 4 MVP, but back-to-back winning MVP.
All right, fine. All right, so I won't pick the Bengals just because I'll just keep with the trends of the regression. I'll just go with the team that, I don't like, and
you better not say the Cardinals.
No. I'm saying the San Francisco 49ers. The NFC is weak. I think everyone's hot pick is the Eagles. I don't believe in Jalen Hurts that much. So I'll let everybody else pick that one. But I'll pick the 49ers. I'll see Lance is going to get the nod, and he's going to play well. And they've got so many weapons on that offense. I feel like it's hard to be bad in that offense. I mean, I could be completely wrong, but that's just what I'm going to go with. I'm picking the San Francisco 49ers.
Okay. I do have a dark horse. Like a not too big of a dark horse, but they're definitely a plus 4,000 team. So they're in the middle of the pack.
New Orleans Saints.
No. But
Las Vegas Raiders.
I like the Saints a lot this year.
Yeah, that was mine then. Fine. You pick yours. I'll just say the Saints will be mine. Plus
Mine
4,000.
is the Minnesota Vikings.
Whoa.
It's a dark horse. Now, I'm not... I did put a bet on Dalvin Cook leading the league in rushing.
Okay.
I personally believe Dalvin Cook will get 2,000 yards rushing.
Oh, man, I gotta write
really
that down.
love Justin Jefferson. I like that offense. Again, this could blow up in my face, but I do believe the Minnesota Vikings are primed to possibly win the division this year. Just because, like you said, the Packers don't have their receivers compared to
Anybody
a year
who
ago.
can catch the ball.
Yeah, it's just I'd rather take the Kirk Cousins led team, which makes me sick to my stomach thinking I'm trusting Kirk Cousins, but
I mean, I'd rather trust Kirk Cousins than Jared Goff or Justin Fields. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, but like we said, there's no receivers. They can easily win that division. I agree wholeheartedly with you there.
yeah, so Minnesota is my deep sleeper, but I believe I'm sticking with the Chargers as my main pick.
All right, let's go deeper. Let's go plus 7,000 and beyond. There are 3, 6, 9, 10, 11 teams that are plus 7,000 and worse. Ridiculous take to pick to go all the way. Who you got?
7,000.
You want me to put it in perspective for the listeners here of these teams?
I'll say the teams. The Pittsburgh Steelers are plus 7,000. It just goes all the way down to Washington Commanders, New York Giants, Carolina Panthers, Detroit Lions, Chicago Bears, Jacksonville Jaguars, New York Jets, Seattle Seahawks, Atlanta Falcons, Houston Texans. Yikes.
You want me to go first?
Go ahead.
All right. Oh, God, I can't believe I'm saying this. But again, it's plus 7,000. And so the reason we're doing this is because the Bengals were plus 12,000.
They were the third worst odds, I think.
Third worst odds.
To win the Super Bowl last year, and they made the Super Bowl. So we're just going to
they were tied with the Jaguars last year. The only worst were the Lions at 20,000 and Houston at 55,000. Ooh, that's a bad number. No, Houston's not even 55,000 this year.
They're plus 30,000, so that shows how bad they were last year, projected to be.
But they're still the last in the league.
And they still beat the Jaguars twice last year. Thanks, Urban Meyer.
Well, I'm going to say this is ridiculous.
I see the screen.
Yeah, my team, provided they stay 1,000% healthy and luck is forever in their favor, the Carolina Panthers.
Puke.
Puke indeed. Baker Mayfield...
That's why it's
gets a revenge season. He comes out, balls the hell out. Christian McCaffrey comes back to life and actually plays a full season, which I don't think has ever done. They have incredible play from players that no one's ever heard of, like Terrence Marshall Jr. or I don't know. People have heard of DJ Moore. I'm just trying to name random people. The defense comes out and plays really good, led by our boy Brian Burns. And Zane Gonzalez kicks 9,000 field goals because Eddie Pinheiro shouldn't be on the team. Boom. Panthers. That's my pick.
My pick?
I think I might know where you're going with this.
Where do you think I'm going?
I think you're going ridiculously low. I think you might go Falcons.
No? I'm going with the hometown team.
Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah. Only reason is because the Jags have the second coach in this list with a Super Bowl win. Or second coach. Mike Tomlin has one. Doesn't he? Yeah, Mike Tomlin has one.
Pete Carroll has one.
Oh, crap, forgot. Never mind. I'm still going with Jaguars just because I trust Doug Peterson more than Pete Carroll with Geno Smith and or Drew Lock.
And Pete Carroll's losing his
Pete Carroll's
memory
65 and 70 years old.
I was going to say, no, he's 74 years old.
Yeah, he's old. Yeah. So, I don't trust Dan Campbell. I don't even know Matt Eberflus. Okay, pass. Robert Saleh. Okay, he can be good, but we'll see about Zach Wilson and Joe Flacco.
Okay,
Atlanta,
so what's got to happen then?
Derrick Henry's got to get hurt. Derrick Henry's got to get hurt again. Jonathan Taylor's gonna have to struggle. Matt Ryan's just gonna choke once again.
So wait, going back to that, you said Derrick Henry's got to get hurt. You don't think we can beat the Titans outright?
No.
Okay.
No. Just because we don't have the defensive line depth to stop Derrick Henry.
Well, even if we don't beat them head to head in games, like
I
you
mean,
don't think
so
we can
you're
win the
talking
division?
about like 99 and 2017, where the Titans owned us the first two matchups in the regular season. I mean, yeah, the Jags do have it's an interesting schedule, but they do have a schedule where they can start off hot. They start off against Washington, Indianapolis, Chargers, Eagles, Texans. 4 of those are very winnable.
Oh yeah, I mean,
And then
that's where we're going. We got to go with things that are going to go our way. So
best case scenario, the Jags can go win, loss. I'm just gonna say lose to the Chargers, loss. Beat the Eagles, beat the Texans, beat the Colts again. That's 5-1. Beat the Giants 6-1. Lose to the Broncos 6-2. Beat the Raiders here in Jacksonville 7-2. Right? Is that my math adding up?
I'm just agreeing with you because I'm looking at the
7-4
Titans schedule. It's really not that bad.
7-4, 8-4. Finally lose to Titans 8-5. Beat the Cowboys because Cowboys stink.
What's the division that we have to play this year?
We play the AFC West and the NFC East.
Okay. And, like, obviously they play division winners, so it's like they're playing the Packers, which, again, is a winnable game for them. They play the Bills, which I think they'll get clapped. But overall, looking at their schedule, I mean, the Cowboys...
We play the Cowboys, too.
Yeah, so I'm looking at these teams that, like, would give them a challenge. The Chargers, okay, the Chargers, but...
yeah, best case scenario, Jags go 11-6. So
all right.
That's
so
the
boom.
best case scenario.
Right.
They win the division, get the number 3 seed in the AFC, and get lucky in the playoffs. But they can. I'm not gonna say they're gonna do it. That's a dark.
This is our dark horse segment.
But
so, okay,
I'm gonna be the homer and take the Jaguars.
All right, fair enough. So you got the Jaguars and I got the Panthers. So, all right, well, let's wrap this up with a little local update, as we always do. First things first, I have to bring up is the Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp. They're doing a giveaway, Mike. Any idea? Well, no, you'll never guess, but yeah, do it anyway. Any idea of anything that they might be giving away?
They're giving away a home plate.
Oh, damn it, you had it.
I saw it. They're giving away a Jumbo Shrimp home plate.
Yes, it is a first 2,000 fans this Saturday. So that is, September 10th.
9/10.
2,000 fans this Saturday will get a free Jumbo Shrimp home plate doormat. Brought to you by First Watch.
Oh, it was a doormat. I just saw a home plate.
Yeah, no, it's pretty sick though. I would put that up front. It's got First Watch's giant logo on it, which kind of sucks, but it's got the shrimp that's like hugging the state of Florida. I've always kind of liked that alternate logo. So yeah, so I just wanted to throw that out there. For some reason, every time I try and pull up their schedule, it gives me some weird thing and weird error message. But they are home against the Iowa Cubs. I believe that is this weekend's schedule. We have just this week. Yeah, it's just this week. So today, as we're recording, was the first game. And Sunday, the 11th, is going to be the last game. And that's it, dude. I mean, we're basically done with the season. September wraps it up. So if you haven't gotten to a game this year, Mike, you should go to the one this week, or not next week, but the week after. And the season's going to be over. So
I'll have to check it out. I just haven't had time recently.
yeah, and they've been good. So props to the Shrimp for doing their thing. I'm always proud of them. Always appreciate watching them. And they're always a good time, even if you don't like baseball. Another note I wanted to have was that the Jacksonville Giants, you remember them, right?
Yeah, the ABA team, or the quote-unquote ABA team. I don't even know what league they are.
Yeah, formerly, I don't really know either. I mean, they've won 7 ABA championships, so maybe they're still in the ABA. But they are doing a free agent tryout that starts on September 17th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Global Outreach Charter Academy, which is on Lone Star Road, if you're not familiar. So if you know anybody that can ball, head out there and try out for the Giants. I knew a guy that was on the Giants. He was also like 7'1", so made sense that he was probably going to be a lock on the team. But Mike, you going to hoop?
Pass.
Fine. A couple other things just really quickly. The Dalai Lama is coming to Panama, Ponte Vedra Beach. Not the Dalai Lama that you're thinking of. This is the Dolly, Dolly, Llama, like the animal. It is an ice cream shop. They focus on handcrafted waffles and artisanal ice cream with authentic European flavors and techniques. So, for all you ice cream lovers, wink, wink, Alyssa, who doesn't listen to this podcast, but she is an ice cream connoisseur, if you will. But
what's her favorite ice cream?
Her favorite ice cream? Strawberry cheesecake.
What's yours?
I'll just, for lack of time, I'm just going to say cookies and cream. You?
Mint chocolate chip.
Thank you for liking mint chocolate chip and not saying it tastes like toothpaste.
No, it's so good.
For all those people out there that think that, get your taste buds checked. And cilantro doesn't taste like mint either. It's delicious. Anyway, the Jacksonville Taco and Tequila Festival is coming up around the corner too. Those tickets are basically gone. So if you wanted to go, you better get your tickets now. And then other than that, there's not really any cool concerts that I really care about, so I don't really want to dive into it.
I wouldn't.
The only cool one is Ringo Starr. And if you haven't seen Ringo Starr, it'd just be cool just because he's a Gator. I almost said he's a Gator.
Oh, no.
He's a Beatle. He's an original Beatle. Him and his all-star band will be coming September 15th to the St. Augustine Amphitheater, so go check them out. But I think it's about that time. Mike and I had a little too much yuckiness for dinner, and our stomachs are starting to bubble. So we're going to go ahead and end this episode so we can go take care of some business outside of the podcast studio. Thank you for listening to an episode of Dimes on Duval presented by Nerdy Nuts. If you have not already, please get your order in. They are coming out with new flavors each and every week. Every Sunday, those new flavors drop. Every Thursday, they announce those flavors. Get them now. Use code DIMES10 for 10% off your order. We are only one sale away from being locked in as an ambassador for the next quarter. So please.
Bro, if anyone wants a specific flavor they need to try is the Nutella brownie. It's very good. I just ordered it last week, I want to say, maybe 2 weeks ago, and I just opened it up, and it was very good.
I've got Cosmic Brownie coming
I
in
have
this
that
week,
need
so
to
I
open
am,
up after.
I'm psyched.
After Nutella brownie, once I finish that up.
And if you don't know what to pair it with, we talked about on the last episode, Mike said on a bagel. I say with apples or literally just with a spoon. You can literally just spoon it and just
don't eat too much or
yourself.
Your stomach will hurt like ours is right now.
Yes, so putting a bow on this episode for Mike Yaji, for Skyler Chase, who is remote, and for myself, Keith Medzi. Thank you for listening to Dimes on Duval, episode 69.
James Robinson, welcome back.
Nice.